We can only speculate what Howard might have done if his life hadn't been cut short. But lucky for us, he was a prolific artist and left a great legacy of wonderful music, characters, and stories.
Human again.
Human again?
Yes, think what that means.
Animation's collaborative. It's like baseball. It's really a team effort. But every once in a while, you get a star player or a collaborator or a coach, and Howard Ashman was kind of all those things to us.
I was taken by his gentle sweetness and his excitement about the project, embarking on this wonderful trip to make this extraordinary animated movie.
I wasn't there when Howard was born. I don't think he entered the world singing and performing, but he soon figured out that it was something he was quite good at. This is in a school. Here he is as the infamous Aladdin, which just always astounds me that he did that. We grew up in a totally nuclear family, mom, dad, Howard and I. Howard's 3 years older than I am. When we were kids, we played dress up a lot. I think I was being a pixie here. He was doing my makeup.
Oddly, he didn't play any musical instrument, but he was so musical, it was part of his nature.
We grew up with musical comedy, where it's never odd that people should talk 1 minute and sing the next. What Howard loved was when they could talk a minute and sing the next, and it all made sense and it was all part of a whole.
My first impression of Howard was he was like a chain-smoking guy, wearing a leather jacket, but clearly intense and smart. And we became a very, very close, fluid collaboration.
Howard Ashman and Alan Menken, they developed a Kurt Vonnegut musical called God Bless You, Mr. Rosewater, and also Little Shop of Horrors, which was a tremendous hit off-Broadway.
That was the first time in my life I had experienced that phenomenon of something catching fire. And it was incredibly exciting.
They took subject matter which normally would have been a little iffy, shall we say, from an audience point of view, and made the audience sit up.
Howard began work on Smile, Broadway musical with Marvin Hamlisch, in 1984.
Smile is about a junior Miss California beauty pageant. One of the leads was Jodie Benson.
My character in Smile was Doria Hudson, and she was from Yuba City. She was raised in a trailer park. And every Sunday night, she would watch The Wonderful World of Disney on this little 9-inch black and white screen. And she would see the castle, and she would see the fireworks, and she wanted to live there.
In Smile, the character that Jodie plays sings a song called Disneyland.
Disneyland, gotta get to Disneyland.
And truly, Howard had no idea of working for Disney when he wrote that song.
Smile was not a success. In fact, Howard had a tremendous flop on his hands, and this was a real heartbreaker for Howard.
During the Broadway musical Smile, Howard Ashman received a call from Jeffrey Katzenberg, who at the time was the head of Disney Animation Studios.
David Geffen called me up one day and said, "You must meet Howard Ashman and Alan Menken. They understand your business better than you do, and you should meet them."
When the call came in from Jeffrey Katzenberg to look at some Disney projects, Howard leapt at that opportunity, if only to put 3,000 miles between himself and New York.
They were very interested in having him work on something. Weren't sure what. But when they got to The Little Mermaid, something clicked. It was already in production. It wasn't a musical. And Howard came on board, and before long, it became a musical.
The seaweed is always greener in somebody else's lake. You dream about going up there, but that is a big mistake.
When Howard Ashman and Alan Menken arrived, Disney Animation was at a nadir. There was no idea that it could be great again.
He somehow or another understood the analogies of animation filmmaking and Broadway musicals.
The last great place to do Broadway musicals is in animation. It's a whole other world.
Floating under the sea. Oh, yeah.
His input, when you think now, without Howard pushing it with Alan Menken, pushing the animation to come back as Broadway musicals on film, they changed this whole era.
I don't know where the knowledge came from. I don't know how it came to be, but man, he just understood it.
Les poissons, how I love les poissons, love to chop and to serve a little fish.
The moments where Howard was probably the most excited, the most happy, is when he was recording demos and he could actually put on the cloak of these characters and become them.
That's something he started doing very, very young and just got really, really good at it.
And I love little fishes, don't you?
He could see it, he could feel it. He would know innately if something wasn't right, and he would not give up. It was like a dog with a bone.
When he was doing Lumiere in Be Our Guest, or he got to be the French chef, or in Little Mermaid.
Zut alors, I have missed one.
We wanted to make songs that would tell the story, songs that would really move the story forward, really push the plot along and keep things driving ahead. You get to a certain point where the crab has to convince the mermaid not to go up above the water and change her life, so he has to sing Under the Sea. And she has to sing Part of Your World because she wants to go up to dry land so badly.
I want to be where the people are. I want to see them dancing, walking around.
Okay, fine. Everything in Part of Your World is Howard Ashman's interpretation. Every detail. He actually handed me this entire piece on a silver platter. And he's like, okay, I just want you to close your eyes, and we're in the grotto, and there's nobody else here. And I just want you to tell me the story. Just say the words and tell me the story.
It's like it's about all that emotion and then not letting it all
Not letting it out.
Not letting it out, but having it here.
Howard could be contentious. He could be very difficult because he was very demanding. He had a vision for every song he wrote.
He wanted to see that actor give what he knew that moment should give.
Wish I could be.
Howard was a passionate man, and that was his passion.
It is with deepest pride and greatest pleasure that we welcome you tonight.
What Howard was able to do on Beauty and the Beast surpassed The Little Mermaid.
Be our guest, be our guest, put our service to the test.
When I think about Beauty and the Beast, going back, I have to really think about Be Our Guest. There are no limitations, and it's something animators obviously have known all their lives. It's what animators live for.
It's just amazing. The way the animators enrich and bring to life and cause something inanimate to act. It's like having the greatest actors in the world performing your material.
They can do whatever they want, and that was very freeing for someone who's looking for opportunities to dazzle people.
Go on, unfold your man, you take a glance and then you'll be our guest, we our guest, be our guest.
Really, the Beauty and the Beast song was not written as a big pop ballad. It was written as this intimate little song sung by a teapot, and specifically sung by Angela.
I listened to it and I thought, oh my goodness, I don't know quite whether I can pull this one off, although I love the idea.
Howard's job was to convince her that there was a way to do this song in this character that was entirely hers, but within her capabilities now. I think what ultimately did it is that he performed the song for her.
Tale as old as time, true as it can be.
She was really hooked, but still doubtful, and then finally she sang it and thought, okay, well, if you believe in me, Howard Ashman, I can do this.
Tale as old as time. They've got to feel that they're with you, that they believe in what you're going to give them, and that what you're going to give them is what they're looking for. You know? It's a combination of all those things. And Howard certainly gave me that feeling, that he trusted me.
Just a little change, small to say the least, both a little scared, neither one prepared, Beauty and the Beast.
Howard knew he was sick right before he won the Oscar for Little Mermaid, and eventually had to tell Jeffrey, and really was afraid that he was going to lose his job. And in fact, it was just the opposite. Jeffrey stood right up, and Disney with Jeffrey stood right up.
Bittersweet and strange, finding...
He said, just tell me what you need. That was it. And that's what led to them setting up a production crew near our home in Fishkill, New York.
Howard continued to work, complaining all the time, but continued to work.
I'm Howard's sister, Sarah. Being Howard's sister gave me an introduction to theater, to art, and to literature. Gave me a deep and an abiding disdain for math and sports.
Tale as old as time, song as old as rhyme.
Howard died before Beauty and the Beast came out. It was bittersweet, to say the least, that he never saw it completed.
He didn't get to see the final film, but I think maybe in his mind he did before he left us.
Howard's greatest joy was bringing pleasure to others. And possibly the best way to honor his memory is to allow him to continue delighting us.
I forget that not everyone knew he was this wonderful, giving person, and that he really had great compassion for everyone in his life and out of his life.
And Howard, I love you. And I'll try to do the phrasing as excellent as you taught me.
Howard could sometimes come across cynical and a little bit jaded, but once you got to know him deep down inside, he was really a little boy. And that was the element of genius in him, and that was the spark.
Look at this stuff. Isn't it neat? Wouldn't you think my collection's complete?
I grew up on Pinocchio and Peter Pan, and to try to make something that fits comfortably on the shelf with those, I mean, that's like, what a difficult thing to do, but what a great thing to try to do.
Tale as old as time, song as old as rhyme, Beauty and the Beast. Off to the cupboard with you now, Chip. It's past your bedtime. Good night, love.